Guys, there is another important topic in the Citrix policies for the session management. Only for managing the sessions with the features wise that we can apply through only Citrix policies. That is one of the policies, nothing but called session reliability. So session reliability policy is already available. So you can modify based on your requirement. So you can check that session reliability, what is the process? Step number 1, 2, 3. The user is accessing the application from the Citrix environment. So user initiate the session from PC001. Okay, user is initiating session from PC001. This is a PC001. There is a network connection interruption in the second stage, the same mission. So the second stage, the network connection is interrupted. Receiver displays still image and buffer user inputs for 180 seconds. In case of any network disconnections is happened, so the session will be displaying on the user screen. It will wait for 180 seconds. 180 seconds means 3 minutes. The VDA aware of the broken connection. The VDA means the server will know about the session is already broken and disconnected for 180 seconds. So the 180 seconds, the VDA machine will not disconnecting the session and keep maintain the session active. So the network connection is restored and the buffer input sends to the server. So the user will be continuously working on that application, right? Example, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Whatever the inputs was doing by the customer, within 180 seconds, if the network is restored, the session will be reconnected and the buffer session will be get sent to the server. So this is called session reliability. So normally if the network is disconnected, obviously the session will be closed, but it will not happen because this is a separate feature called session reliability by using that. So this complete communication will be transmitted through the port number 2598, session reliability port number 2598. The session reliability port number is 2598. So let's see the lab, how look like session reliability. Go to the policy and create a new policy. And you can click here in the option, search option. You can type the name session reliability. See guys, session reliability, there is an options are there. 3 options, 3 policies will be there. Session reliability connections, session reliability port number, session reliability timeout. So session reliability port number is a 2598. In case of any chances the changing the port number, you can come here and you can modify it. And session reliability timeout values a minimum 180 seconds will be there. If you want, you can change yourself. So example, 180 seconds you want to change it, you can select here and you can do that. Okay, and you can read this information. What is the session reliability? We already explained it. Okay, this is one of the good feature. And session reliability by default it is allowed. By default allowed. Okay, by default it is allowed. If you are disabling, yes, you can disable. By default the policy is allowed. If you want disable, you can disable it. If you want to change, you can modify yourself. Okay. Next, auto client reconnect. Auto client reconnect. It's similar kind of a session reliability feature. the setting to control automatic connections in case of interrupted connections can be set to require re-authentication. So normally, if disconnection, if you are reconnecting again, it will ask the authentication username password, right? It will not ask you. So normally auto client reconnect process will be if user is connected from the session 1 PC001, if in case of any problem in the network, and whenever the network is available, the receiver automatically connects the session. Okay. So that is called auto client reconnect. So sometimes the network will be disconnecting and reconnecting, disconnecting and reconnecting. The network interconnections, this will be happening. So waiting the period 180 seconds is session reliability. Auto client reconnect means, so in this particular time, the session will be re-establishing that feature you called as auto client reconnect. Both are depending on each other. If an auto client reconnect is not working, what is the use? You need to manually click and connect it. Okay, manually we need to click and connect. But auto client, during the session ability time, it will establish the connection back. Suppose you want to enable this feature, by default it will be enabled. See guys, auto you can see this, many auto client reconnect options are there. You can check this one by one. Auto client reconnect by default it is allowed. So reconnect authentication do not required again. So automatically it will connecting, right? If you are reconnecting again authentication is required, you can select that option. So reconnect logging you need to maintain for event tracking. You please maintain. Reconnect time is 120 seconds only. If you want, you can increase it. Okay. But my experience, auto client reconnect should be less than session reliability time. Your session reliability, if it is closed, what is the reconnect? Waste, right? So auto client reconnect, the timer will be, the timeout will be less than your session reliability time. So any devices you want to be redirections, any kind of LTP, LPT port numbers if you are configuring, you please select that. Just give me a minute. So any other questions in auto client reconnect? So next feature is ICA Keep-Alive. ICA Keep-Alive. So the Keep-Alive means always the session will be active between the end user machines to the application. That means Enable sends the packets from server to client at configurable interval level. Enable servers to detect the connection failure can be enabled via policy. Session reliability uses similar mechanism. Okay. So guys, in case of small internet disconnections, anything, so if you are enabling the keep alive, so the session will be stable when we are using it. So the same feature is session reliability also doing the same thing. But if you're enabling the ICA keep alive, the session will not get interrupted. Keep on, it will be connecting by the user without interruption. Okay. So session reliability, auto client reconnect, IC keep alive, all are similar mechanisms. Maintain the session very stable. So my suggestion, all the options are by default enabled. That's why your sessions will be stable. You will get connected. In case anybody in your company, it is disabled, try to please enable it. Try to please enable it. So thank you. So any other questions before ending this topic? No questions? Thank you.